This is Mike May, Editorial Director for Scientific American Worldview here at the Buzz Center. I'm with Andrew Powell, who is the CEO of Asia Biobusiness. Andrew, thanks very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Before we get started, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Asia Biobusiness? What do you want them to know about that?
Well, we're a small Singapore-based company that we established, my colleague and I, Paul Teng, established in 2005. It's small, but we have associates around Southeast Asia and also in the UK and in North America. Our aim is to advance the biotechnology agenda of our clients, and our clients range from the public sector and the private sector. In the public sector, we work for governments, including the US government, the United States Department of Agriculture, for example, but governments from Southeast Asia and all around the world who have an interest in our region and working with people in the region. We also work for the private sector. Hopefully we advance their agenda as well. And we also do technology sourcing. Part of the other thing that we do in the business is we have a training arm to the business where we train people in the commercialization of technology, particularly agricultural biotechnology, and also do a lot of work in risk communication.
Well, that's a lot of ground to cover. Now, let's talk though specifically about, say, Southeast Asia. As you look at Southeast Asia for biotech in general, what do you see as that environment? How would you describe that environment these days?
Well, we wouldn't be there if it wasn't exciting. And there's some great people down in Southeast Asia. There's some great ideas. I think probably it would be fair to say that these ideas are not coming through all the way to the innovation stage right now. There are some highlights, but I think people would recognize that there are still some way to go to really create a truly innovative environment. And there are steps, being made to address those issues, but I think most of the countries would say, we are getting the ideas down on paper, but we're really not getting them to market. There are some shining examples, but not that many. It's an exciting place to be, and the intellectual capital there is one of the reasons why we wanted to set up Asia Biobusiness, because we think these people can produce things that can go to market ultimately.
When as you talk about that, them getting from where they're at now to more products to market, what appear to be the biggest challenges that they're facing with that right now?
Well, there's quite a number of challenges. One of the key things is that there's not a lot of venture funding for the area. There are spotty coverage. I think Australia and New Zealand have funds that are available. Not so much in Southeast Asia. There's not the angel community that can start things up. So that's a bit of a problem. As to doing the deal side of the commercialization process, I think we really sort of lack the commercialization arms of institutions, and most of the innovation is coming out of publicly funded research. There's not a whole lot coming out of the private sector, and that's another issue as well. The private sector is not taking the risk at creating truly innovative products. It's the lack of funding, and it's the people on the ground, the commercialization people. It's a bit of a catch-22 because you can't be a very good commercialization arm almost if you haven't already got something that's been a success story. And we can see that in Australia and New Zealand, like UniQuest and Waikato Link. UniQuest is out of Brisbane, Waikato Link is out of Hamilton in New Zealand. These guys are good, but they're good because they have had success stories and been able to advance the agenda.
You mentioned earlier some of the sort of strong points of innovation in that area, but I want to give you a chance to kind of elaborate on that. If you're going to talk about the really upsides to biotech in Southeast Asia, what are the things you'd point out?
Well, we're based in Singapore. In Singapore, there's some great basic research going on. It's really solid. We've just got to have more patience to wait for that to bear fruit. It's not going to happen overnight, and I think that applies to most of the other countries in the region. We've got to have this patience in the supporting agencies to realize it is going to be 10 to 15 years, if not longer, before we have a truly vibrant and an innovative sector. The biomed side of things is exciting. There's a lot of great stuff coming out from all over the region. The agricultural biotech side is probably quite weak. In Australia and New Zealand, it's stronger. There's some great researchers going on there, and some potentially innovative products coming out of the likes of the folks in Adelaide at the Australia Centre for Functional Genomics, the folks in New Zealand at Massey University, for example, and also in Queensland, some very good stuff. There's some really good stuff in the food biotech side of things too. They're pretty energetic, and in Thailand we're seeing some really potentially innovative products coming down the pipeline. But the big challenge, as they would recognize, is getting it from the lab into the market. It's the inventive phase is not a problem. It's that taking it into the innovation phase is the issue.
Well then, so they're lucky that folks like you are there to help them out with that, because that makes a big difference in helping them find their path along that way.
Well, I hope we can make a small little difference, but you know, there are some very good people there, and you know, if we can do our bit, well, that would be great.
Great, well thank you for stopping by today and doing your bit here to help us out. We really appreciate hearing about your work and your company, and thanks everybody for stopping by. There'll be more interviews from the Buzz Center. Make sure to stop by and see them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.